Hello and welcome to PAX and Recreation. And today we open the window, get it, to a new set. Although we already reviewed the Commander decks, we already talked about a lot of this stuff. But, at this point I was always almost like, do I need to do this? But hey, we do it for archival purposes. Plus I already bought it, right? So, Duskmourn House of Horrors pre-release. So I'm going to take this opportunity to be not only like opening these, which is what you expect, but talking a little bit about the set and expectations and so on. The first thing that I want to mention, as always, is yes, remember, even after the pre-release, your local game store has, most of the times I guess, excess pre-releases, and you can buy them and take them home and do your own pre-release with your friends, or do it in the LGS with people. So you don't need to, like, ideally you should be at the pre-release event, but if you can't, or if you already went, like if they still have stock, like this was the case, you can still just, do it again. It's just basically a pretext and a nice package for you to do, sealed draft, right? So Duskmourn, House of Horrors. First thing that I want to mention before opening this is nice detail. This is the type of thing that I love about Magic the Gathering, but I really love it with a freaking passion. It sounds like, exaggeration, but it's not. Like, we have the form factor. A lot of people just discard this. It doesn't matter. And they were like, oh, well, we have the denting thing, right? But what if we do it with moths, since that's the theme of the set, and I love it. I love these details. And yes, it's for something that you're going to discard immediately, or maybe you can do like a bracelet out of this or something, I don't know. But like, those are the details that makes us love this game. Besides the value of the cards, the power of the cards, and all that stuff, to me, what makes me love this game is, the detail. That that there's passionate people. Someone somewhere at Wizard was like, you know what? This looks like moths. Can we change it for moths? And it's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And like, bless that person. So welcome to your new forever home, which is nice because these Commander decks didn't have the usual phrases at the bottom, which is a shame because that's some of my favorite parts of Duskmourn. So this pre-release is very nice, and this is why I wanted to open it in the channel regardless, because I already saw it, right? But like, it has kind of a structure. Sometimes it's like one picture here, and sometimes a picture in the back. Here I like it. It's like kind of a structure. You open it, it's like it's like a cardboard house, and I mean, literally, it is to a degree, right? Because you are unboxing the house, right? Like, here is Valgaboth, and this is the ceiling, this is the floor, and these are the doors, right? So, someone thought about this, and I hashtag appreciate. So, because normally we open the pre-releases like this, so this is new. Then you have the interior of the mansion, and then if you open the doors, which these things are very useful, by the way, because you can just use them to mark that a room is locked with a new room type of card. You see the inside of the, right? And it's like a little house. So actually, on pre-release day, I saw people doing this, like doing like this, right? And be like, hey, but actually for this one, you need to remove this. Actually, you need to remove the two. I mean, I'm asking for a lot here, I guess, but if we want to be like really thorough with it and so on, you should just, like, the counters are for whatever. It should just be like, able to remove this easily, and you remove this. And if you remove this, which, not that difficult, and you do this, you just need to do something about Valgaboth there, but like, see, you have your very little Magic the Gathering house. Like, yes, it's stupid. Yes, indulge me. So you get your door indicators, which are very useful for this set, believe it or not. I'm walking on it. And then the box. The box itself is cool. I like it. Purple, hue, orange thingy. I like this. I like Duskmourn like 50% of the time. The normal pre-release D20, right? Like black and then one color. In this case, we got black, white, which is yellow, but that's white is yellow and black is purple in Magic. But you get the point. So the D20 that you always get, and then the boosters, and the box that some people keep, some people throw away. They always are kind of tilted, and I get tilted because of that. And the lovely insert, how to build a pre-release deck, and then Duskmourn is an endless mansion full of rooms to explore. When battling the terrors of the house, unlocking the right room is often the key to survival. And it has room rules clarification, which is like, okay, people, so you're new to this, it's a new thing. So a room is fully unlocked if both doors have been unlocked. Okay, a room counts as a single enchantment, even if both doors are unlocked. If a room enters the battlefield without being cast, both of its doors are locked. You can pay their cost to unlock them later, which is good clarification right there. What's the mana value of a room? While being cast, the chosen have. On the battlefield, the combined of all unlocked rooms and the combined mana value of both halves anywhere else. This is kind of, if you play a lot of Magic, this is something that we need to talk about for a second. If you play a lot of Magic, likely you look at this and go like, duh, right? And it's like nothing of value there. Very nice divider, right? Like they went with everyone's favorite art right here, and you may be like, oh well, those are very simple rules. But like, I would actually appreciate if every pre-release came with clarifications of that type for the new cards, because sometimes the new cards can get very confusing. Regardless of you being a pro player, or just because a lot of people in the stores, there are confusions. Yes, you should have like a judge for sure, but Dazzling Theater and Prop Room is my promo card here. Not bad. So 3-1 and 2-1. Creature spells you cast have Convoke and untap each creature you control during each other's player untap step. Very powerful. A code that you can use for Magic Arena, and more tokens, in this case the locked doors, in case you want something more generic and not something so Magic like. And now let's go through the boosters and let me talk about the set so far, right? So far for standard, I mean, I'm not a big standard guy myself. I was before, then I got tired of maybe I should go back to standard. I've been thinking about that lately, mostly because I really like. I don't know what's the general opinion on this, but I really like the fact that they were like, let's do 3 years of standard, because for a new player, I remember when I was a returning player, and I was like, oh, okay, standard is still 2 years. Like this was like, I don't know how many years ago, but I remember when I was full into it and playing standard and so on. This was around Shadows of Innistrad, right? I remember being like, oh, okay, I built a deck, and half of the cards that I got, like specifically because I mean, it's quote unquote my fault, because you need to be informed, right, before you do the thing. Oh, come back wrong, not bad. Because I was like, okay, let me build the thing, right? And I built the thing and so on. And then it was like, oops, Withering Torment, cool. And then it was like, well, oopsie whoopsie, my boy. Turns out that you actually bought cards that are going to be discontinued in 3 months. And mind you, at least it was 3 months, not like now that it's like a new set every month. But well, at least let's be fair, for standard it's still like 3 months, because it's 4 per year, right? So immediately I was like very discouraged, because I was like, oh, come on, like it's not like I paid a fortune for those cards, right? I paid because I just paid the cards. I was like, oh, are they illegal? Yes, they are. And then I was building my deck, and I was loving every second of it. And then it was like, oh, it's only valid for 3 months. I was like, oh, okay, there goes my investment. But not investment in the Rudy way, like, oh yeah, the investment of the cards, and we need to make a return on my investment. It's like, no. Investment in the most literal sense. Like, I invested some money there, and then it's only going to be good for 3 months, because then those cards are no longer playable in standard. And at that time I wasn't big into Commander, right? So I didn't have the mindset that I have now, that it's like, oh well, if it goes out of standard, I can just, it goes into Commander later, right? Like it's not likely. It doesn't, again, a card that is good in standard is not necessarily by any means good in Commander. Mostly, I hate these cards. By the way, the double add cards is like, why do you do this to me, Wizards? Like, really, why? Just give me a token on one side. Like, come on. It's just garbage. So yeah, it doesn't mean that it's going to be good in Commander, but at least you can have some life for it. I'm not thinking about Modern or Legacy because I'm too poor for that. But Modern technically should be a format that I would prefer to Standard. But believe it or not, the Standard is more expensive in the long run, more or less, because I mean, if you want to be really competitive, right? If you just play with the things that you're pulling, I mean, have fun, little brother, but like if you really want to be competitive, you need to buy cards and all that stuff. And in the long term, it's cheaper immediately. In the long term, it will get more expensive than Modern, depending on what level of Modern deck are we talking about. But yeah, like for a person like me, technically Modern should be something that I will be into. I hate these cards, by the way. Nothing against them. I mean, this is not the worst one, but let me explain what I mean with I hate this card. Oh, nice, Enduring Innocence. In foil. The foils in this set are very discreet. Are very literally like shiny cards, period. Oh, nice. Island by Dan Mumford. Great art. What do I mean with I hate those cards? Well, I am all the things that I've been playing so far with Duskmourn, like Commander decks, a little bit of Standard, Magic Arena here and there. As I said in multiple videos right now, I really love Duskmourn. I was waiting for Duskmourn. And this card is an example. I really love Duskmourn. Like, I was waiting for it, right? Like, I have nothing against Bloomburrow. I like Bloomburrow a lot. I was waiting for Bloomburrow too. Like, it seemed like the savior set for this year because, yeah, I am not that into Cowboys, and I am not that into. Well, I like Murder Mysteries, but the Carl of Manor thing was so over the place everywhere. Like, is Ravnica? Because sure, I mean, the setting in Ravnica is cool because you could be like, oh, well, I mean, it's a conspiracy between guilds and stuff. Like, you have a very good setting there. Now, obviously, Twitching Doll, nice. Obviously, what we all know by now, which is like, well, there's some cards in there were actually New Capenna cards, but apparently people didn't like New Capenna, which, I don't know, people. I like Bioshock. I feel is your problem there. I mean, and foil, believe it or not. Maybe in the camera it's easier to spot because it shines, but I don't know. I like New Capenna. I mean, I wasn't crazy about it, but I like the thing with the factions and all that. The 5 commander decks, which it feels like an eternity ago that we had a big commander set that was like 5 decks, and then the others were like 2, 2, 2. Now it's like everything is 4. God damn, it's so exhausting to collect Magic. To be on top of Magic is just exhausting. Like my recommendation to anyone that is like, it's just like buy a precon, and if you really want to play Magic and just play Commander, have fun, don't take it too seriously. If you really want to take Magic seriously, you want to play a lot or do a lot of deck building, and you don't want to ruin yourself, just use Cockatrice or something. Just play online in one of those emulators. Like, don't give your college fund away. I love Magic with a passion. Sometimes I will unironically defend that is one of, if not the greatest board game ever, even though it has a lot of faults. And certainly most of those faults are because of capitalism, because it's a business first and a game second. Ooh, the Mind Skinner, nice. But I love it with a passion, but some things I can't justify, and some of those things are, well, things like that. But Duskmourn mechanically, I like it. I like the rooms, and some of the stuff that we've been seeing so far, I'm okay with it. Like, Bloomburrow to me I think Bloomburrow is the better set in a lot of ways. Last booster, by the way, this was very fast. Like, to me, Bloomburrow is the better set of the two, I would say. The other two I don't count them. Like, yeah, it's just not the card design. I mean, there are like multiple ways you can look at a set of Magic the Gathering and process this, right? Like, you can be like, oh, okay, so if you want to look at the flavor, right? Because to be honest, the flavor thing is kind of why Wizards is rotating different planes per set. We no longer have like trilogies of sets. You know, like we had with Theros. There was like that was 3 sets, right? Like it's like nope. Now it's like a new set, new plane. Why? Because it's all about the setting. Because it's all about Commander decks, right? And people playing Commander, like in the flavor. So it's like, oh, I like detectives. Oh, I like cowboys. Oh, I like trains, right? Is that sort of thing. So it's like, okay, so you like horrors? There you go, horrors. It's confusing that this is being released now, knowing that we will have more horrors with Innistrad Remastered, but well, different type of horror. I feel that this is mechanically that's a different opinion. In terms of value, that's a whole different debate. But mechanically, I like this. Not too complex. It just brings back a lot of things like Delirium and but now you have Eerie and the rooms, which is not bad. I just feel like in terms of theme is pretty much everything that I wanted, and at the same time not so much, and that kind of pisses me off because the detectives thing, I was disappointed because the cards were bad and the setting was half realized, which really bothered me because I'm not against using Ravnica for that, but it really felt like whatever. And Thunder Junction was okay. I mean, I don't like Cowboys, and I think it's very divisive. Like, you either love the freaking Cowboys or you just hate them, right? That's personal preference. So if that was the case, I guess, yeah, maybe you love Thunder Junction or not, because it's just Cowboys. That's what it's at. And the story was just whatever. The designs are Cowboys, right? So there is not much. Mechanically, it was better than Murders, but still, Broomborough is where it's at, right? It's like new set, new things, new characters. Like, there's a couple of Planeswalkers there, but no one cares. Everything is, is cute and fantasy. It's very Magic the Gathering, very old school. That's kind of what people want, right? So with that in mind, and all the new mechanics of Broomborough and the balance of the game, I think it's the better set. Duskmourn, I love it personally. At the same time, I hate it. Like, as you've seen in half of these cards, there are cards here. Let me just pick a color at random. Let's pick blue, right? Like, there are cards here. Just looking at the aesthetic, right? Because let's be honest, Duskmourn is all about aesthetic. It's not that all the other sets are not, but this one is just like, ooh, House of Horror, ooh. It's like, okay, sure. They released it before Halloween. That's why we get Foundations at the end of the year, because gotta bank on that. But like, look at this. Okay, Ghosts, cool, but then he has like a space divide, and this is a guy wearing like normal clothes. And yes, it's because there are survivors in there and they are from the 80s or something inside the house, which I get. I don't have anything against that because, again, we had detectives and Neon Dynasty was like Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm not against the idea. I'm against the fact that I don't like the idea. Like, I like the House of Horrors. I don't like that the survivors are kids from Stranger Things. Like, for example, look at this. Love it. Look at this. Freaking love it. Look at this. Amazing. Look at this. Okay. But it's like, oh, he's a wizard. Maybe, with scrap materials. Okay, let's see with the past. Cool card. We already saw it. Great, right? The rooms. I love all the freaking rooms, right? They all feel like a very Resident Evil thing, kind of mansion that has everything. So, erratic apparition. That works, even though, it's kind of poltergeist. Unable to scream, because it's a doll, right? Great. Love it. Love it. Cool, and love it. So, like, from just out of this small sample, in blue, there are like 2 cards, 3 if you want, that have like the modern stuff with the modern kits. And, nothing against that, but like, cool. I don't like winter that much, but okay. I will give it a pass. Great. Cool. Which I know what you were saying, like, oh, that's hypocritical. It's like, oh, you don't like 80s stuff, but then a clown that has no reason to be in Magic because clowns are not a thing. At least not with this aesthetic, which is like our world's aesthetic. It's like, okay, I get it, but still, like, love it, right? Like, from time to time you get the survivors, and I just don't like them. And that's in a set where they have like the most beautiful art. That also comes with special treatments. When we open the collector boosters, which I'm delayed on that, like look at this. Because I tried to do this whole thing with Ghostbusters, right? Because we know because of the secret lair, yeah. It just doesn't work, in my opinion. I would prefer that I just went like full horrors. I don't mind the survivors. I don't mind the survivors being like normal kids' clothing, you know, from the 80s because Stranger Things and aesthetic and whatever. The Ghostbuster apparatuses is like okay, and it's not because it's technology. Like my problem here is not like, oh, that's against the lore because Magic the Gathering is like, no. We had Neon Dynasty, okay? Like after Neon Dynasty, everything flies. Like Neon Dynasty Cyberpunk 2077, like everything flies. But it's just like, why do you give me House of Horrors and then you give me kids with toys from Ghostbusters? Like, but you know, we will analyze more of this as we open more stuff. I still have to open the rest of the products from Duskmourn, and we will see it in a future video. But I want this to be a short one, so there you go. I won't make it longer. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those cool things that the cool kids do. And I will see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.